Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. China has gone aggressive and arrogant worldwide, and India is not the exception. It is a typical situation where an autocrat is facing domestic problems, challenges, and difficulties, and he has the advantage of a disunited opposition. The West is in complete disarray, and taking advantage of the disarray caused by the likes of Donald Trump, China has gone aggressive, China has gone bellicose and militant. Its diplomats are showing a newfound arrogance, which has certainly come from by way of orders from the top. Diplomacy generally is a polite and cordial profession, and Chinese diplomats of late have been going beyond it using language which has been shocking. They've done that in France, they've done that in Australia, they've done that in Canada, US. Bellicose, militant diplomacy. And as we said, this is all to do with Xi Jinping facing problems on his own domestic front. Along with aggressive, arrogant diplomacy, China has also been making its armed forces indulge in bullying, indulge in militancy, indulge in aggression. That has been happening in the South China Seas. China has been troubling the likes of Malaysia, Philippines, Cambodia, Taiwan, and Japan. And now it has started indulging in armed, aggressive activities with India. It opened a new front on its own in Sikkim a few weeks ago, and now it has been Ladakh. And in Ladakh, despite some understanding that was entered into and the forces were expected to go back, China has indulged in the cold blooded, unprovoked killings of Indian soldiers. The least that we can do to honor our dead bravehearts, to honor our martyrs, and to see that their sacrifice does not go in vain is to ensure that we throw China out of our country. We need to get China out of our economy. We need to get China out of our daily lives. And we need to remember that the number one enemy of India is actually China. George Fernandez, our former defense minister, was right when he said that it is not Pakistan which is our number one enemy, it is China. And this unprovoked bellicosity, this unethical, unscrupulous, cold blooded killings of our soldiers completely displays and proves the fact that the enemy that we should be really bothered about is China. And being bothered about it means we need to get it out of our economy, we need to get it out of our systems. An enemy is never invited home, an enemy is thrown out, and that's what we need to do as far as China is concerned. By trading with China, we are actually creating a situation where we are funding our enemy to fight us. Last year, China had a trade surplus of about $60 billion with India. Up to November, China's exports to India were about $68 billion, and China's imports from India were just a mere $16 billion. It ran that kind of a high surplus with India. When we trade with China in this manner and give it this kind of a huge surplus, we are actually in effect funding our enemy. We are strengthening our enemy's economy such that it has more money to buy arms to fight us itself, and that needs to stop. We need to throw out the enemy from our domestic economy, and that doesn't mean just boycotting Chinese products. It doesn't mean that we throw Chinese products from our balconies. It actually means that we battle China on all fronts of trade, business, and investment. Over the past few years, China has made a determined effort to enter Indian markets. In fact, it has entered enough, but it is still not that much that China becomes an indispensable partner for India. It has not made that deep inroads that we can't throw it out. It is not going to be immediate. It will take time, but we need to start that as a national movement, as a national strategy, as a national passion. And as far as the economy is concerned, we need to battle this enemy on every front in which it deals with India. And what are they? Infrastructure is one segment where India has a huge deficit, and it needs funds, it needs investments, it needs a certain amount of expertise, technology, and experience. And interestingly, Chinese firms seem to have all of it. In normal times, if China was not an enemy, it would have made good collaboration between the two nations, and that would have helped both. But then, as we said, it is enemy number one. So the first area where India needs to deny China any entry is the infrastructure segment. Infrastructure tenders and contracts cannot be awarded to Chinese firms, and experience says that the government has managed to do a decent job so far. There are hardly few infrastructure contracts really which have got awarded to China in a big way. One of the news making rounds at the moment is that the Delhi Meerut RRTS contract of 1000 and odd crores has been awarded to a Chinese company called the Shanghai Tunnel Engineering Company. While the contract has been awarded, it still awaits a security clearance from the Home Ministry, and that is where barriers get created for Chinese firms. India's security agencies are necessarily required to look into the background of ownership and management of these Chinese firms, which very often are a mere extension of the People's Liberation Army, which is the armed forces of China, and they cannot be given such tenders. Thus, this particular one of Delhi Meerut, which has been awarded at the moment by the NCR Transport Corporation, is going to undergo a security clearance before it becomes a final award, and you can be sure it will not come. The other development that has happened in tandem with this particular Ladakh incident is that the railways have cancelled a particular contract which was awarded to a Chinese firm, which was for a signaling tender job between Kanpur and Mughal and it has done that, saying that this contract of 471 crores is cancelled because the Chinese firm failed to perform. The railways are planning to cancel another 4 such tenders. The BSNL has also decided to not award any contracts for telecom gear to be supplied by any Chinese firm. In fact, the UAE, the Chinese telecom equipment firm, which has been a major controversial entity globally, with the likes of Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and USA banning it, is seeking to make inroads into India's telecom gear market, which happens to be the second largest market in the world. We need to deny Chinese firms any entry into the Indian market. The second one is foreign direct investment. Chinese firms have been very keen to invest in India. So far, FDI of $6.2 billion has come from Chinese investors. But then, as we said, it's an enemy. And $6.2 billion is nothing big for India so far at the moment. One like of a investment from an Apple or a Walmart itself can be far, far bigger than this cumulative FDI of $6.2 billion which has come into India so far. We need to prevent such investments coming in. We really do not know what is the background of those investors, because the line between private sector and public sector in China is extremely thin and perforated. And this can happen by having restrictive and onerous laws towards investments coming out of China. Reserve Bank of India needs to formulate even more stringent laws for checking the background of any investment that flows out of China directly or indirectly, and that will help to prevent any Chinese investment coming into India. We need to deny India to China. We need to be clear that it is not just Chinese products that we are boycotting. We need to boycott China. In line with this FDI investment to be denied to China, the recent 3 MOUs which have been signed by the Maharashtra government under its Magnetic Maharashtra version 2 program, those which are said to be in the range of 5,000 crores also must be prevented. No entry for Chinese investment into India is a must, and it cannot be compromised. The next is Chinese investors like Tencent, Baidu, Alibaba, etc. have been huge investors in India's digital startups. All your digital startups, whether it be Ola, Zomato, your Big Basket, all those, they all have Chinese investments. In fact, Chinese investors, their venture capital funds, have become the largest investors in India's digital startups. In 2019, they invested $3.9 billion in these startups, and in 2018, it was just $2 billion. It has been increasing year after year. We need to deny these kind of investment opportunities to the Chinese companies again. Indian startups need to look at traditional areas, traditional investment markets like USA, like UK, like Europe and the Middle East, and deny any entry to China. They must be banned. And again, for that, the Reserve Bank of India needs to come up with extremely onerous and restrictive regulations such that Chinese investors do not get to invest in India's startups. Further, any fund flow into India which has a Chinese connect, whether by way of an external commercial borrowing, by way of a foreign portfolio investment, etc., again needs to be given a similar treatment. The other very important area where we need to block China is to block the imports of Chinese products into India. We need to make it difficult. We need to ensure that Chinese products are not flooding the Indian markets as they do at the moment. That means a combination of various measures. One of them would be imposing import duties, the other would be anti dumping duties, the other would be prescribe minimum quality norms so that cheap, poor quality, substandard Chinese products do not enter the Indian markets. We will need to do that. The other measure that the government has rightly taken is that it has declared that all government tenders up to 200 crores are only going to be meant for suppliers of Indian products. That means Chinese products would be kept out. This is one part of the story. The other part is, in that case, if you are not letting Chinese products come into India, then you need suppliers who are homegrown, or you need supplies from other countries which are not inimical to India. While the second one will be started immediately, the importers from India are bound to look into other supply sources worldwide. But the most important one and the long-term measure is to improve governance and administration in India such that manufacturers worldwide are willing to set up shop in India and produce in India. That will be the best way to block the Chinese imports into India in the long run. Where we are actually failing is that we are not making India an attractive investment destination. We are not making India an attractive place to do business despite the huge market that we have. And because of that, international manufacturers have been shying away from the Indian markets. That is a question of governance. Our failures have been there, and that is where the ball is completely in the government's court. The government will need to improve the ground realities. The government will need to make it easier to do business for foreign companies in India so that Indian manufacturing goes up and we have an alternate to China. We need to make India difficult and unattractive for China and its companies, and we need to make it attractive for companies from other countries, and that is a function of governance. And it is now time to realize that we do not need to be shy of exposing the misdeeds of China worldwide. Talk about Taiwan, talk about Hong Kong, talk about the South China Seas, talk about its repression in Uyghur, talk about the suppression of human rights in China. Be open about it. China needs to be exposed. It needs to be exposed and defeated not just militarily but also politically. We need to remember that the rules of the game have changed, and it is now India that has to make decisive moves to throw the enemy out of its own domestic turf. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
हमारे घरों में भी बच्चे होते हैं जो हमसे प्यार दुलार की आस करते हैं।
हमारा भी जीवन साथी है जिसको हमारे ड्यूटी से घर आने का इंतजार होता है।
हमारे घर में भी एक बूढ़ी माँ है जिनके लिए आज भी हम ही आंखों के तारे हैं।
लेकिन हम हमारे घरों में नहीं हैं। आपकी सुरक्षा में कोई कसर न रहे, इसलिए हम अपने प्रियजनों से दूर हैं।
हम में से ही कुछ तो अब इतने दूर जा चुके हैं कि वो वापस अपने घरों को लौट भी नहीं पाएंगे।
हमें गर्व है कि हमारे कंधों पे मुंबई शहर के नागरिकों की सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी है। हमारे जज्बे और बलिदान को व्यर्थ न जाने दे। इस संकट के समय में आप घर पे रहे, सुरक्षित रहे।
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.